Hello everyone, Partstock here, back with another episode. Today I will go a little into new car sales. Not really my department, but I work with the dealership, so I have to touch on it every now and then. The sales department is oftentimes labeled as the flagship of the dealership, but in my many years of experience, they are the first to be affected once things go south. And we are seeing that right now. Well, at the time of making this video, the pandemic is on and we're going into a massive inflation situation with high interest rate, and a global recession is looming. For my podcast listeners, you can watch the full video on my YouTube channel and on Facebook. But before we begin, please hit that like button for more content and subscribe if you find my topics informative, so you will be notified when I drop a new episode. It will only take you 1.5 seconds to do so. A friendly reminder again that I may be the only one of the limited programs that takes you beyond the sales department consistently. Of course, others focus specifically on cars, sales, their performances, look, style, features, and DIY videos from mechanics. Please remember to grab a copy of my new ebook, The Parts Manager Guide, Proven Strategies Used to Maximize Profits and Process Improvement. Details are in the description box below as well. So, I am reacting to another video courtesy of CNBC titled "Why Car Buyers Are Ditching Dealerships for Online Sales." Now, this video is 16 minutes long. I won't go through all of it, just bits of pieces. The link will also be in the description box, and I will, just comment on the parts that seems deemed important in the industry that we're in. So let's begin.
Buying a car, new or used, is often a disenchanting shopping experience. Common complaints revolve around paperwork, haggling, and not knowing if you are getting a good deal. Now, many buyers are moving online. Some surveys suggest that the vast majority of car shoppers are doing at least some research on the internet before purchasing a car, and more are moving beyond that into contacting dealers, securing financing, and even purchasing the car itself. A new crop of online services promises price transparency, short transactions, easy financing, vehicle delivery, and even the ability to return cars if it doesn't work out.
The traditional.
So let me pause right here on the CEO of Vroom. So car sales companies are doing all they can to ease the frustration of buyers as the competition fires up on all cylinders. So dealerships, no, they have been slow into entering into online sales. And while you can view, look, and add features online by the manufacturers, the manufacturers still transition you to their local authorized dealers to initiate the final purchase. Let's continue.
Dealership model, or the traditional peer-to-peer sales where a consumer might be selling or buying a car from a stranger, is fraught with friction and a process that was just begging to be disrupted.
Some of these online-only vehicle vendors are growing quickly, but selling cars online is remarkably complex. And some research from the industry suggests many consumers still want to visit a dealership.
It's finding this balance between making sure that we can grow as quickly as demand is growing, but make sure that while we do that, we continually deliver to customers the experiences that got us here in the first place and generated all that growth.
But customers have shown they are willing to buy many things online, and tens of millions of new and used cars.
And one of the things you have to also understand is that the stigma of dealerships, otherwise called stealership, lingers in today's environment. Let me go below and look at some of the comments from the viewers of this present video. I was reading them, and here's one of them that says, "I'm 100% willing to pay more for a car just to not to have to use a dealership. We are sick of dealer scams. Even after having a fully agreed on price, my mom took 4 hours to do the paperwork for a cash buy. I would have walked out. Thanks, Toyota." Here's another one. "I personally hate dealerships. I would do anything to put them out of business for the rest of eternity." You're talking about an entire company with a staff complement possibly of 100 people. You're willing to have those people sent home because you're having a bad experience. That's how bitter some of these persons are. I mean, they don't think before they write these things, but I mean, sometimes it's just, You know, when we become emotional, we become extremely irrational.
Car sales take place every year. There is a lot of room to run.
So, like I said, I'm just going to go through bits of pieces of this and touch on the points that, you know, I've picked out to discuss. However, let's not forget that we are now moving into an e-commerce scenario. Everything it's being done online, and dealerships now have to get with the program in order to facilitate that trend. Let's continue.
Have proliferated in recent years and include publicly traded companies such as Carvana and Vroom. Both names have seen a lot of success in a short amount of time. In just 8 years, Carvana became one of the youngest companies to be admitted to the Fortune 500. Industry publication Automotive News ranks used car dealers every year in terms of volume. Carvana entered the list at number 8 in 2018. By 2019, it was number 4, and a year later, number 2, behind used car behemoth CarMax and ahead of 2 of the country's largest dealership groups.
In less than 10 years, they have been climbing, and please remember, most manufacturers, they have been around for more than 20-30 years, and both Carvana and Vroom have done this within 10 years.
AutoNation and the Penske Automotive Group. Notably, Carvana is the only exclusively online used car vendor in the top 10. Rival Vroom was number 14 in 2020. It debuted on the Nasdaq exchange on June 9, 2020, and shares more than doubled on its first day of trading. Carvana's argument is that bad dealership experiences are a structural problem. The used car market is extremely fragmented, the cost of doing business is high, and there is not much to differentiate one dealer from another. So, the argument goes, used car dealers can only make money by squeezing customers. This is what produces the hours-long buying process and discussions many consumers find so stressful.
Which is the negotiation process, or the haggling, based on how a lot of frustrated customers try to share their experiences. And online sales, it comes with a lot of pros and cons. Vroom and Carvana has made the market evolve, but they too possess their own problems. So it's not as seamless as you will point it out to be. And based on, I'm trying to find right here to show it to you. Okay, here we go.
Vehicles exterior and interior. Vroom and Carvana say their model allows them to keep a far larger inventory.
Dealerships have 100 cars or 200 cars on their lot, where I think Vroom at the end of our second quarter had nearly 14,000 cars in inventory on our website listed.
Both companies also advertise transparent pricing and haggle-free sales, hoping to attract those customers eager to avoid negotiation.
14,000 cars on your lot. That is a lot of money in holding costs. Can you imagine the operational costs it takes to have that amount of inventory sitting on your lot? That's incredible. I mean, that's actually money tied up in your company, unable to flow. It slows up your cash flow.
Garcia also said Carvana's cars will also likely be about $1,000 less than what customers would pay at a dealership. Shoppers can also use phones to upload needed documents and sign contracts online.
The experience is very simple. A customer can go through and they're in control the whole time. If they want to, get a warranty, they click a button. If they don't want a warranty, they click that button off. If they want to trade in, same thing. 2 minutes, they get a value. They can toggle that trade-in value on or off. They can get financing in 2 minutes.
Once the purchase is finalized, a customer can either pick up the vehicle from a designated location or have it delivered. Exclusively online sellers like Carvana and Vroom don't have to make the same investments as conventional dealerships. The online self-service process allows these companies to reduce labor costs.
And this is not a public service announcement for Carvana and Vroom. Sorry, I'm twisting my words here. However, you have to understand that as the market evolves, the leadership of the respective dealership and the manufacturers, you have to move with the market as well. So here's one evidence right here happening right before your eyes.
They don't need conveniently located storefronts. But they have had to make other large investments, such as in reconditioning centers where they prepare vehicles for sales. Carvana also has large buildings it calls vending machines, where buyers can pick up their vehicles if they choose, slide a large coin into the slot, and the vehicle is fetched from among the stacks. These investments require Carvana spend more money than the dealer upfront to build out infrastructure, but the heavily automated process leaves it with lower variable costs.
This last quarter, we crossed over the point where those lower variable costs finally caught up and we had our first profitable.
Yeah, so they're improving the sales experience for everyone as time goes by, which also require a specific amount of investment and cash flow.
Quarter, which is a really cool thing to have done because it has taken a lot of time and a lot of effort by a lot of people to build this simple experience and to build that fixed cost structure that was necessary to deliver it.
Carvana executives have noted that 97% of used car transactions already involve some kind of online research. Investors and analysts take this as a sign that companies such as Carvana have a lot more room to grow. Vroom held a follow-on offering in September 2020 after its IPO and then raised another $550 million in debt in June 2021.
Where are those investments going? They're going into the customer experience, whether it's upper funnel in our e-commerce model or in our sales and sales operations flow.
Yeah, so I had a very short stint as a product presenter and sales administrator a couple years ago when I just started out, of course. And I can share with you one strategy that some of today's sales process does not give you in order to make you feel satisfied as a customer. So one tool we had at one of the dealerships I worked with was a maintenance comparison. Now, similar to how you would go on a website and compare models with their features, for example, the weight, the engine size, the fuel economy, infotainment systems, torque, horsepower, etc. What you won't get is how much each interval of maintenance will cost you. For example, if you bought a car with a 3 to 5 year lease, for argument's sake, then you'll need to show what you will fork out at 10,000 kilometers, 20,000 kilometers, 50,000 kilometers, 100,000 kilometers, and so forth. A lot of people go blind buying that dream car and they don't take into consideration what their maintenance cost is going to be. So you want that Porsche, you want that BMW, you want that Mercedes, but those front brakes will set you back an additional $2,000. Okay, so those are some of the things you have to take into consideration. Let me move forward with this video.
A used car in the US topped $25,000 for the first time. Around the same time, the average transaction price for a new vehicle topped $42,000. Given this, a lot of consumers might still want to check out the vehicle in person before signing off. 71% of American shoppers in a Deloitte consumer survey said they would still want to buy their next vehicle in person. Another 12% said they would prefer a partially virtual experience, and 17% said they would go fully virtual. McKinsey found in a similar survey that around 60 to 80% of shoppers, depending on the consumer demographic, still see the test drive and physical.
Exactly, and that's why I fast forward to this particular section of the video, because the online car sales had to slowly provide showrooms to provide personalized service for potential sales, but you can't and will never eliminate that personal touch, such as the test drive they're talking about right here.
Car buying still has a very strong physical component similar to real estate, and it's the second largest purchase for most people. And so the test drive or the physical interaction actually continues to play a really critical role in the buying process.
The pandemic did force dealers and automakers to bring some of the dealership experience to the buyer, such as through at-home test drives. For example, the Cadillac brand began offering 24-hour trials for its cars. New cars have more drastic depreciation rate drops than used ones, so companies selling a used vehicle can allow a customer to hold on to it without worrying that the transaction will crater the vehicle's value. That makes it easier for Carvana and Vroom to offer 7-day return policies. There may be other obstacles to digital automotive sales in the new car market. For one thing, laws protecting dealers prevent automakers from selling directly to shoppers. So online new car sales are going to have to involve dealers, notwithstanding certain exceptions such as Tesla, who has no dealer network to protect. Another challenge might simply be the potential for.
And another con to online sales is that you won't get that test drive experience or the advantage to build your network with the manager or the salesperson who is handling their purchase. They might have access, believe it or not, to other people of like mind, depending on the business you're in or your profession. Who knows? Online sales eliminate building customer relationships. So if you're doing everything strictly transactional over a computer, you won't have that personal touch. Now, again, I will never relent to reiterate that when sales are down, parts and service blooms. Today, dealerships are recording the highest growth in parts and service sales than any other time in history. 3S facilities always win. Why? Well, the ones with great leadership, that is. Meaning that a good managing director will have in place a defense strategy mechanism for the bad times, and that won't impact operations too badly. Of course, you'll have your occasional layoffs or winding down and consolidation of resources within the dealership, but it will not impact the overall operations of the company. So, well, I mean, that's it for today. Remember to grab a copy of my ebook, The Parts Manager Guide, and smash that like button on your way out. Until next time, we will speak again. And if you find my topic informative, please send me an email, smash that like button, and we'll talk.